afternoon to everyone. I welcome all of you to this second day of the Atal session. I'm here to just give you a brief overview of how to get the funded projects, how to write funded project proposals in the any field. From my field is with respect to matter computing and image processing, robotics, speech processing, etc. So the thing here is, of course, this is you can get a more because till now I have completed around 9 crores funded projects with DSP and HRD, VGSP, etc. So I just given you that any college you go, any college you are faculty, the first thing they will ask you patents, publications, books, book chapters, funded projects. How much funded projects are there? Because majority of the faculties who are applying for the funded project they will reject it. So there is an art and technique of writing a funded project proposal for any particular topic. So here I am here to give a small overview of my experiences in writing funded project proposals, so that you can carry over the good things from here and try to implement the same thing in your colleges. So now writing a grant is like playing a game. So you have to know the rules. Like for example, in the initial I did my PhD in way back in the 90s, so then there was no computers. From 95 to 2000 I did that. So at that time there was no computers. It was a 4 crore Indo consortium project. So I had to do the simulation here and I had to do the implementation in the United States. So the thing is here, if you write 10 proposals, 1 proposal will get it. So like that. So you have to play the game. So you get the guidelines, read the guidelines, follow the guidelines. Just like remember the king Bruce and the spider. If you play well, you will definitely win the game, else you will get defeated. Just like 1 in 100. So you remember that story of the king Bruce. So he was hiding in a cave after getting defeated 7 times. In the 8th time, you see that the spider was going up, it was falling down, going up, falling down. Like that 7 times it went up, in the 8th time it gets succeeded. So like that, similarly here also. So suppose you write one proposal, there will be some lacuna in that. Try to define those lacunas and submit it to the next one. So one day definitely it will get accepted. Okay. So the parts of a different grant application is the title should be there, abstract should be there, then the problems of the statement, what is the goal or the objective, methodology, project management, and clarity of key personnel in the institution, like it may be a principal investigator or the co-principal investigator. And main thing in funded project proposal is you should have a what you call industry collaborator. If you have an industry collaborator, there is 100% chances of accepting the things, because they will tell you are doing the project. So what is the guarantee that you will implement? Where will you implement? You cannot implement in your project. You have to implement it to an industry also, industry only. So you have to have an industry collaborator. So there is definitely it is going to fail. So all the projects what are done are tied up with the industry collaborator. So there is a output is being there, and the product is being released, and it is being in the market also. So every semester there will be evaluation, then dissemination is there, references what you have cited, and they will see the series of the applicants and brand after brand. Suppose if you say if you have put a because I am from Adi College of Engineering, say from if you submit a proposal from IIT, NIT, IIT, that brand also applies. So one thing is implement. I think is series of the applicants also plays a very important role. So in the sense that, for example, see the first time when you are filling in a proposal, maybe in speech processing, I mean the line will be there. Have you done any similar work in this field? You will say no. Have you published any paper in the relevant field? No. So have you done any project in this relevant field? No. So when everything is no, they will think that you are not having any expertise in this particular field, what you have floated for the funded project. So then definitely they will reject that. So it's only a breaking the ice. First step you do one work. See, that's why before submitting a project proposal, what you do is you just work on that particular topic for nearly 6 months. Maybe making use of some EG students or PG students or some collaborative industry projects or internship projects. Once you do the base work, and then definitely it will click. So that is what I want to do. That is one experience with me. So that's the one thing. So why this particular topic is research budgets are shrinking everywhere. The researchers are being forced to seek external funding because the colleges are asking for faculties to get promotions and all. This is one of the important criteria, and also one of the important criteria in the MBA Act and the criteria 5 and in the NIRF. In the NIRF, the major thing is the funding. Then the writing a good research proposal by experience, it was by some of the basics I have written here. So you should know funded project research proposal is just some thing I have written here. It is nothing but it is nothing but what is called the DPR, detailed project report they call it as. So it's a detailed document that seeks financial support from funding agencies or institutions, or it may be a non-government or it may be a government or a private, etc. So it just outlines the research plan, objectives, methodology, and the detailed budget demonstrating the project feasibility and potential impact and the significance of the anticipated findings. So the funding agency may be private sector, public sector, or industry, or research institution, or it can be an NGO. So the main thing is individual profile becomes very, very important. So if your profile is very, very strong, at least one funded project proposal is there in your CV, then definitely it will carry a lot of weightage and you are going to get that sanction. So some existing connections with the R&D also is needed. See, research is meant for national institute. Don't think that research is there only IITs, NITs and all will do. So other colleges also will be doing that. So expected work of a college is teaching and evaluating. There is no direct contact with campus research and employability. When you want to do research in campus, management has to spend a lot of money. The management will ask you why you have to invest so much in your extra labs, etc., center of excellences, etc., etc. No, we cannot do like that. That's why what we do, you write some proposal, try to get the, suppose if you, for example, you float a DSP project, in that nearly around 10% will be invested in establishing a lab. That's what they do in the IITs and the NITs also. Around 10% in the overheads and all, you can use it for building the infrastructure. Make use of the what you call is junior JRS, junior research fellows or the senior research fellows. That's what they're doing in oil and gas speech and hearing. They're getting crores of rupees funded projects on speech, audio, etc., speeches, etc. And they're making use of the students, etc., and the JRS and the CRS to complete the project. So some existing connections about R&D you should know, some existing conceptions about R&D, etc. Because in funded project proposal, these are the various components you should know. The title should be very, very specific. It should not be very lengthy. Okay. Then abstract. You should provide a concise summary of the funded project goals, methodology, significant, introduction, have a brief introduction, objective, clearly specified, similar to your PhD program. Literature survey. In the literature, we want you to do for the past 20 years what work has been done, that you have to put it there. In that, there are a lot of lacunas, drawbacks, etc. Try to convert them into as a problem statements. And what methodology you are going to use it, and what is the expected outcome, what is the timeline. For any funded project proposal, it will be minimum 1 year to be there, or 2 years to be there, or it can be 3 years also. Like VGST you take, VGST or Karnataka State Group of Sciences and Technology by CNR Rao. When I got a VGST proposal back 5 years, 10 years back for 30 lakhs, K-fixed. So it's a 3-year term, right? The timeline is very, very important. And you have to put the budget also, and the details of the PI, the principal investigator and the co-principal investigator. Now they have put a cap on the PI. PI cannot be more than 55 years of age. If more than 55 years of age, you can be a co-PI, like that. And these are the types of research proposals. There is a dissertation, grant proposal, thesis proposal, project proposal, and renewal. Suppose if renewal in the sense that you do a funded project for 3 years, like it's what ISRO is doing. Now it's over, now you want to extend it, part 2, 2.0. You can go for the renewal also. So these are the types of research proposals. What is the thesis for the students, dissertation, research funding proposals, industry research proposals, establishing some incubators in the college, etc. And so how to write a compelling grant proposal and submit it to a funding agencies. 9 important points are given. These are like the 9 planets of the funded region project proposal. First we understand the grant provider. For example, you are putting a proposal to ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research, where they are doing a lot of activities, research, and crores of rupees they are getting. MMC has got a funded project for ICMR for 10 crores. ICMR, all the doctors and JRS and all, they are doing on what is it, heart replacement, kidney replacement, new research come out. If you see the artificial kidney has come out, that they are working. So that the draft a strong institute summary, clearly define the project, address the problem statement, then develop a detailed project plan, showcase your expertise and team. Budget is very, very important. Then see, this budget includes all and everything. It includes the yearly salary given to the project assistants or the JRS, SRS, etc. How do you evaluate it and conclusion to call for the action? So once they will take the first time when you apply now, what happens, they are asking to revise. So then you have to revise that, revise your proposal because your proposal will be evaluated by all experts in the field. Normally the DSP, Department of Science and the Server, you can see that all the people who are evaluating the project, they are experts. They are like CNR Rao. Any nanotechnology comes into this one. CNR Rao, we know CNR Rao for the Bharat Ratna Award. Okay, so you will be evaluating all the funded projects with respect to the nanotechnology. You can see, for example, even our VGST, like who is the head of VGST, CNR Rao is the head. So each takes a call. Which are the proposals to be implemented? So what are the social relevance? Like in the KSEST, social relevance problems will be given a weightage like that. So first thing is, first time it will get rejected. Second time what you do? You go for revising. Revise the proposal. Then take some advice. Don't feel ashamed taking some advice from the juniors or the seniors or from students and all. So do not feel ashamed or embarrassed about asking for money or promoting himself. If you never ask for money, you will never get it. So it will be very difficult for the colleges to give the fund the project for you. So what you have to do is, majority of the colleges, they will be mainly concentrating on the TLP, the teaching learning process. Wherein they have to put for the salaries, then infrastructure, everything. Where is the money for the doing research and things they will tell. So that's why you only try to get the funds from the different funding agencies. There are a lot of agencies. For example, if you see the National Quantum Mission is having 10,000 crores of rupees. So the 10,000 crores of rupees fund is there. If you write any project on quantum computing, if it is a very profile, then definitely you are going to get it. My last proposal was on quantum computing cyber security. So we got it for 30 lakhs from DSP and I completed it also. So writing some grant application, formal structure, the statement of the problem, summary of the current developments in the field, statement of what is new about the project, indication, for example, new about the project. For example, you are doing research on 5G communications. Now 5G communication is outdated because one of the biggest drawback of 5G communications is the bandwidth and what you call as the penetration. It is having a very low penetrating value. So if you cannot go below the Earth's crust. So whether the 60, it can go up to even 50-60 kilometers below the Earth's crust. If it is a closed loop environment, you will not be getting the signals at all. Because the signals and noise ratio will be very weak. You cannot amplify. That's why if you are working on 60, then you will tell the drawbacks of the 5G. So in these drawbacks of the 5G, I can try to eliminate some of the problems and I can define and I can get some 6G model like that. For example, you can go on the Google, the government AICT panel, and for the 10 colleges in Karnataka, they have given a 6G test bed, each costing 1 crore. RD college has got, just 6 months back, they got a 6G test bed. You can do internships, you can do projects, you can do all those things in your RD college because they got a 6G test bed. Simulation test bed, out of which Geo has invested 25 lakhs there. So you can also try to bring that Geo test bed for the next year. You can apply, you are going to get it. So you can have a 6G lab there. You get a lot of research is going on 6G communication, the noise ratio, how to reduce the noise, etc. All those things. So first thing is you do homework. Similarly, directly if you write in 2 days, you have one project proposal and submit, you won't get anything. It will not be effective. You have to work on that. 5 months, 6 months you have to work. Some 2-3 projects you have to do. Some papers you have to publish with respect to that one. And some outcome should be there. Because otherwise in that column, you can everything is nil themselves, you will not get. That is the major drawback. So make contact with the funding agencies, details of the grants available, how to apply for them, what are the members of the committee, etc. So before beginning to prepare a grant proposal, consider the following. First thing is, believe that someone wants to give you the money. Consider the long-term goals of an institution. Start with the end in mind. What is the top-down approach? In 4 places they got asked to first out, they call it that. Prepare a comprehensive plan, not just a proposal of you wish to. See, these are the questions. What are the current trends? What are the current limitations? I told you, 5G it cannot go below the crest. So we can enhance by making use of repeaters modules so that the signal strength will be increased. Then if you go to the rural areas and all, then we know things. A lot of research is going on 6G communication because the speech processing, etc. You see, any speech or audio is nothing but a mathematical model. If I am speaking, what is this? These are nothing but the audio signals which are ejecting out of my mouth. And so how you model them is modeled by A of t, A is equal to V of t sin omega t plus theta. That means at t is equal to 0, I am ejecting a sine wave. At t is equal to 1 second, I am ejecting a sound sine wave. Again at t is equal to 2 seconds, I am ejecting a sound wave. So this audio signal processing, then speech signal processing, because recently the Sony laptop has come. There you can see, just to go on speaking on the laptop screen, the text will be coming. It's called speech to text processing, like that. So a lot of research things you can go on in speech processing also. So what are the current limitations, restrictions, what subject areas were awarded funding recently, what are the future plans of the funder, who are the decision makers, what review process, all these are things are there. Then approach the proposal, how to approach the proposal, what are the deadlines, how long will the process take, because normally it takes 5 months, 6 months, 1 year to get evaluated. So what is the proper way of approaching them, etc. All those things you should remember. Approaching the visa, always remember your case will be read by 1 or 2 experts in your field. 1 or 2 experts in this field, in the judgment panel won't be, you have to write about the benefits, ask lot of people to help you improve your, suppose if I want to write a funded project proposal on speech processing, etc., especially for the disabled people. So what you do, you approach some of the people who are working in that area, involve them, you be the PA, let them be the co-PA, so that once you interact with them and you can try to formulate the problem, what are the problems that are faced by the disabled people, etc. All those things. Once you what you call define the problem, you have, because already they might have worked. Okay, so once that is through, then definitely there is a chance of getting through this one. Funding projects for good researchers, etc. Remember that you are not begging anybody. So you can see in the National Quantum Mission, 1,000 crores, your 10,000 crores fund is there. Especially in the ISRO, now ISRO has opened out for every year. If you remember, by December 31st, ISRO Respond program is there. If you see, ISRO Respond program, a lot of researchers they are giving funds for the Chandrayaan 4.0. Chandrayaan 4.0 program is there. For that, you can also, now they have opened for the external also. So the external companies can fund the research project proposal. So you can take some research project with respect to the Chandrayaan 4.0, because 3.0 was a big success. Now they have converted it to 4.2 and they want to put it in the different regions of the Mars. So like that. So the first page should be the summary, very very important, etc. All those things. You have your ideas. They are just like Gujaratis. What is Gujaratis? People will know. Gujaratis, Rajasthanis, Marwadis and all. They will take your talent, they will fund and they will come out with the Tatas, Birlas, Ambanis and all. Whole India is there. If you go to Chippet, Bangalore, Chippet, so all the technical people are we, Kannadigas or other people. They will use our talent. See, here you use your talent. See, here you take the equivalent for them. For example, you take the when I visited as a judge for VVCE, there is nearly 100 startups. 100 startups in the VVCE. That is a daily tech which has taken place there. And out of that 100, there are 25 have been funded by Sudhamurthy. Because Sudhamurthy is an alumni of VVCE. Okay, there I see so happy that one student, what he is doing is, I think he come on the YouTube and all, he is taking the gutter water, and that gutter water, he is made some module. The output of that gutter water is pure water. So pure water is coming. So a lot of companies are funded. In 1 year itself, he has made 5 crores, and of which 2.5 crores is not the 50-50 partnership. Like that, you can do some startups in speech processing, or it can be anything. Nowadays, you see the problem is what is happening is speech processing plays a very important role, because nobody wants to write a program. Nobody wants to tell a robot to do a particular work. In the olden days, when we did our PhD from 95 to 2000, at that time there was no computers. We had to do some coding in microcontroller all those. Now, everything robot, you do this job. That's all. Just dictate, and it will go and do the particular job. So that is the concept what you have to remember. Okay. So you have the money, you have the ideas, you give it and take like patent. So you are putting whatever idea you get now, you just patent it. then you get it granted. Once it is granting, what happens? Companies will come and take it. That's what they have done recently. If you see this audio speech and hearing, they have devised a small audio meter. That audio meter is for the if you put it in the ear, it will convert from which language to another language. So many things they have done. So like that, so you can all the current technology. The major criteria to be asked is: do the proposals have a good idea? Does the proposal belong clear, etc. All those things you should. Of course, of this PPT I will be giving it here. You can say what are the objectives of the problem, what are the outcomes. Does the proposal addresses a well-formulated problem? Is the research problem is a routine application? No, all the routine works, not new things to try. Another 20 years. So we should, in the next 10 years, we should, the problem you should try to solve it now. So in Hindi there is a kahavat, my guide used to tell in 95, kal ka kaam aaj karo, aaj ka kaam abhi karo, like that. So we don't know what is happening. See, before COVID, what happens? 2020, there was no AI, there was no machine learning, nothing. In just 5 years span, how the entire scenario in the world changed. Just in 5 years span, AI came into the picture, the machine learning algorithms came into the picture, lot of research and new concepts were introduced in the market. As a result of which, the nation's economy, progress, the technology, everything developed like anything. Quantum computing in the now quantum computers have come, quantum dots have come, etc. So, right, all the current technology works you have to solve it. Okay, and one of the big thing is the environment problem, solving the pollution problem. All these current technology topics, if you take and write some proposal, definitely you are going to get through. So these are the base work ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಬ್ರೀಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಫ್ಲೋ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಗಾರಿಥಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಇವನ್ ಇದನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ some statement of the problem, summary of the current developments. This can be in the form of a literature survey. Okay, statement of what is new about the project, not old wine in the new bottle. That is not Google Beam project old wine in the new, not like that. Should be some new things. That's what now when you do some tech programs in IITs, NITs and all, you tell what is your creativity, what invention you have done, what is the new thing that you have done in your project. So all those things you should write in this indication of the extent of what the research base, etc. All these things you should remember. The secondary criteria, all the shortcomings you have to address. There is no evidence that the proposals will succeed, etc. And you all these important points you should remember while framing the project proposal. The questions that are being addressed. Suppose if you write any objective when you write an objective, it may not be implementable. It is very difficult. Suppose if it is not implemented, that's what even happened in one of the proposal. What I wrote on ICMR, it's a nanotechnology. So the concept was to design small bot, which is injected in the bloodstream to clean all the cholesterol deposits and to come out. Recently, there is no bypass surgery. This is what is happening in Kerala. There's a cancer hospital next to Devisheti hospital and all. So current technology, cancer due to angio, this is the chemotherapy and all. What is the major drawback? The major drawback is not only kills the healthy cells, it also kills the cancerous cells. Chemotherapy, suppose if 1,000 cancerous cells are there, it will kill the 1,000 cancerous cells. Also, it will kill some 300, 400 healthy cells. As a result of it, what happens? Air loss, vomiting, etc. So the concept of this nanobot is just to identify which are the cancerous cells, live inside this, clean all everything and come out. So that is the one exact 100% purity there. So just like that, they told, see your concept idea is very good, just like the movie, conceptual science fiction movie, and implement Manakalanta, the daily people in the in the interview presentation they told. Why I asked? They told the first thing is there is no fab lab in India. Fab lab means fabrication lab. There only now recently there are 3 fab labs. Fab lab means is now everywhere is a chip design. Correct? Now chip on the character. AI communication, AI chip, machine learning chip, etc. Due to even Bangalore also there is no chip. Only there are 3 places where because one is in say SCI, Semiconductor Complex of India, Chandigarh. Another one is Bombay, IIT Bombay is there. They got a monolithic fabrication lab. The next one is this what do you call Bharat Electronics. Only the 3 places were. It so happened that before in COVID time, the entire SP road in Bangalore was shut down. Many of the people committed was about to commit suicide because all the chips where they were being flown from Korea, even a small buffer transmitter R to one Modi what he did, he tried to develop that chip manufacturing industry in India only. So they made in India. So Mysuru has got a very good chip manufacturing plant. So like that. So you try to bring out the current technology topics so that it can be implemented in the future generation can use it and see to it that everywhere it is in the automation stage. So what are the key parameters that the funding agents typically consider before sanctioning the budget? One thing is the project justification. Next thing, what is the objective and the goal? What is the methodology that you are using? The project feasibility. Feasibility means you can do it. Some people ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಹಂಗೆ ಆಯಿತು. ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ 10 years back P60 proposal ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಅದೇನಾಯಿತು one of my friend also in another college. So it is in North Karnataka. ಅವ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. They told that we cannot do it like that. Feasibility. If you take up any project, that's what many of the students do. Usually uptake project ತಗತ್ತಾರೆ ಕೊನೆ ತನಕ ಮುಗಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. They told that sir we are not getting the output at all like that. So it should be feasible. It should be workable. Okay, budget details. What is the timeline? Whether it's 6 months or 1 year or it's 2 year or 3 year term, etc. What is the team qualification? Team plays a very very important role. Especially if you see Modi has got such a fantastic team. Especially till that they were going to hit that entire what you call 6 months back. So nobody disclosed like that. The team confidential. If you take any funded project, government proposal, it should be very confidential. You'll be giving it in writing that I will not disclose even a small thing to the external. You cannot publish also. You cannot do anything. Otherwise, you will be put behind the bar. The same thing happened with ISRO. So when 6 months back, one of the scientists was arrested, because he gave some of the topmost secret to the Bangladesh. So the same thing also what you call in Urdu, someone like that. It should be confidential. To sign an undertaking. The NDA sign ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Non-disclosure agreement ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. A sign ಮಾಡೋದು. Even your college also is getting lot of funded project proposals in other branches and like that. So since you have got a very good network with this audience of speech and hearing, you can collaborate with them and try to do some good thing in the speech. That team qualification plays a very important role. PI ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. Captain, the vice captain, what you call the co-PA, he can be little like normally PA professor professor will be there. Then with a very good doctorate and very good publication, and he should have worked in that particular field. Okay, the topic in 160 communication or like for example, ಈಗ ನಾನೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಪ್ಪ. See now here, if you are very near around 1 meter, the signal strength will give. The only people they cannot. The people who are standing at the very back they cannot hear, because as the distance goes on increasing, the strength of the signal goes on increasing. Inversely proportional. ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಅದೇ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಡಿವೈಸ್ some strategy, ಡಿವೈಸ್ some repeater module, etc. like that. And so for example, another one thing, recently ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದೆ. ನಾನು I got a evaluation from the US because I worked in NASA and all. Beautiful funded, beautiful project that NASA has taken that. It was a noise reduction. So ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ see there is one test bed there. Okay, and ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಿಕ್ಸರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. There's a mixer, like our ಮನೆಗೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸರ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, there's a mixer. The moment mixer is on, what happens? It will make sound. Correct? It will be churning. The motor will be rotating. Lot of sound will be coming. What are those? They are nothing but sound signals. The speech signals, audio signals, noise signals, which are ejected at different amplitudes, different frequencies, etc., etc. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so for correspondence ಇಟ್ಟರು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡಿವೈಸು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡಿವೈಸು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡಿವೈಸು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡಿವೈಸು, ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾಯ್ಸ್ ಜನರೇಟರ್. ಅವು 4 ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. there is no noise. Noise is eliminated, zero. That's what they are doing in some of the auditorium and all, noise control, vibration control and noiseless. So again ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ those 4 devices, four devices were taking all the signals which are coming in different directions, different phases, and it was producing anti-signals. And both of them got used to get superimposed. As a result of it, there is no noise. If I take a sine wave, if I generate an anti-sine wave and I superimpose it, what happens? Plus minus will get cancelled, minus plus will get cancelled, there will be no noise. Noise reduction. That's what they are doing in many of the auditoriums, in the Volvo buses and all. Shop observers and like. Recently one I saw in a bullet train, Gujarat ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದು one of the engineers from Japan who has come there and is monitoring monitoring there. Ali that team has gone to Japan and ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. The train is moving at 350 kilometers per hour. The coin is kept on the desk. It is not shaking at all. It's not shaking at all. It's like that. There is no shaking. That's one thing. If I want to nullify what happens, one sine wave is there. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ anti sine wave generate ಮಾಡೋದು. So you superimpose it ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ there will be no noise. So this is a new concept, noise pollution, noise reduction ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. So this noise, everything is nothing but speech. Okay, now that's what I was saying. The team qualification should be very, very strong. The captain should be very, very strong. Okay, then one of the best captain in Mysuru, Nakushan and he was in, so he was a very big man in wage processing. Or Central University, Triple IT, and if you put his name, we are going to get the paper will get accepted and the project will be sanctioned. So like that, the team leader should be very, very strong and expected outcome, the dissemination plan, how we are going to disseminate it every 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, etc. There is assessment, then sustainability, compliance and ethics, etc. The project adheres to all the relevant ethical standards and all the NPA comes to the factor. Ethics should not copy, no plagiarism, all those things comes into the picture. For example, this is the last project which I got from DSP, Department of Science and Technology, from the Technology Innovation of Internet of Everything from IIT Bombay. The title was Quantum Secure Strategic Development for IoT Communication. Quantum computing for IoT device data security system, which focus on securing IoT device data communications using post-quantum cryptography algorithms, PQC algorithm ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. So using that, firstly ಏನೇ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಈಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, for text speech to text conversion ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. So for that you have to give a project outlay. Equipment ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. I have to give, if I take some any GRFs or some project assistants, if I involve some UG students or PG students or some faculties, I have to pay them, correct na? So for that what everything split ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಪವರ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು and consumable ಇಷ್ಟು. Travel, suppose you want to go and meet some of the scientists or somewhere in Infosys or Accenture or some Baba Atomic Research Center, there also you can claim for traveling is to miscellaneous expenses. ನಮಗೆ KCST ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಪ, in KCST project ಅಲ್ಲಿ travel is to there. Similarly, like what is the contingency, what is the overhead comes to the college. So this overhead means it comes to the college. When it comes to the college you can give a proposal for using this to build the particular lab. Nimde lab agutte. See, you will see in RV college, in BMS college, every professor has got one lab. All funded project is there. In that funded project only, they are one lab set up ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. all students will be working in that particular thing. Okay, ಆಮೇಲೆ faculty fees ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. You will see, for example, PS University ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, one project proposal ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದ್ರೆ immediate ಆಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ 10% amount ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. Suppose you get a project proposal for 20 lakhs, 2 lakhs comes into the account, college account. They are doing even in many colleges doing in BMS, Basic, Ramaya, everywhere unfunded project company you are going to get this one. And 3 years locking. Nobody will touch you. The management will not touch you at all because the project will be 3 years or 2 years. ಏನಾದರೂ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಕಿತ್ತಾಕಿದ್ರೆ along with them the project also will go up. Correct na? So that like that. So once 3 years, after the 3 years is over, extension. Another 3 years. So these all will fetch you good results, outcomes in promotions, all those things and all. Okay. Then GST you have to pay. All those these are the at the end of the thing you have to submit a research report. That research report contains the details of the current state of data, etc. All those these are the things what I developed. Things and of course submitted. I have to reduce the quantum noise. That was the project. Noise is nothing but what? It's an undesired signal. Noise is nothing but an undesired signal which will affect the value of the system output. Correct na? Noise is nothing but an undesired signal. It's a random signal. How you model the random signal? You cannot model it as in like A is equal to sin omega t. You have to do using the probability, theory of probability and statistics. Random theory process the communications will go there. Digital communications and so all those things we have developed that. One of the quantum all those things. Okay, and this was the project what I have done. We worked with the LTC Manjunath professor etc. Co-PI because I crossed 55. I couldn't. I was not even in BGST. 50 ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾರು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So that's why what you do, you make one as the main peer which is very strong this one, and you can be the co-peer. We got it from IIT Bombay. So like that. Here also you try some current technology problems in speech, maybe in speech, or it may be solving in communication, or it may be in noise, or any type of project of current technology things you focus. And you definitely now you know now I have written the second part 2 I have submitted. It has gone to the final stages for 1 crore. 1 crore ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಇದು. First stage review ಆಗಿದೆ, second stage review ಆಗಿದೆ, third stage ಹೋಗಿದೆ. So in that third stage they have asked us so many queries. If that is true, definitely I can get around 1 crore. After that 1 crore in right ಅಂದ್ರೆ 10% comes to the college as the what you call faculty fees ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. Apart from the salary, you can run all those things. Okay, and also you'll be serving the society. The new concepts you'll be implementing, and the people will be using all those new technologies and all those things. So overhead cost, what is the overhead cost? Also known as indirect cost, expenses that are not directly ಎಲ್ಲ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Say for example, this Bangalore-Mysuru expressway ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ. So before that, the Bangalore-Mysuru expressway was being implemented. Lot of civil engineers, architects, engineers, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು they studied in which point I have to take the exit, in which point I have to make the elevated flyover, etc. From the estimated cost model. After estimated cost is submitted to the government. Once ಎಲ್ಲ meeting ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ and they proposed that and it was implemented. So like that. So what are the indirect cost, what are the direct cost, etc. Then administrative support, salaries and benefits ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಸ್ಟಾಫಿಗೆ ಓವರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. For example, the travel, or instructor extra. So you will be also helping that you also has to give some amount, cost for stationery, Xerox Manatira, but you can claim. There is no need to ask from the college at all. College is but everything you can get it from the funded project. That's what they are doing in CFTRI also. And then office supplies, utilities, facilities, equipment depreciation, and then software licenses. Software license ಅಂದ್ರೆ now you have started a project ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು 50 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ. ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ you have purchased. Say it is MATLAB 2023. Okay, next year you will go. It will 2024 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Again, if you want to procure the license, you will ask for the extra ಕೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ for software renewal ಗೆ, communication, ಮಾತಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, insurance, all this. After everything is over, you have to get it certified from the auditor. Then only you have to submit to the government. Okay, so ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಫೀಸ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ indirect, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂದ ಓವರ್ಹೆಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬಜೆಟ್ it will come. Okay, and the contingency cost is there. Contingency cost in the budget for drafting the funded project proposal. So contingencies are nothing but the budgeted funds that are set aside to cover unexpected costs or to manage risks that could rise during the execution of the project. Some are expansion, then scheduled days, cost overrun. Cost overrun ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಒಂದು 30 lakhs ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎವ್ರಿ ಇಯರ್ ದಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ನಾ? ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, 30 lakhs ಇರೋದು 40 lakhs ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. So then you have to ask for extra money, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ನಾ? So that is what is called as cost overrun, regulatory changes, technology, equipment failure. ನೀವೇನೋ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು that it got destroyed. So then you cannot claim from the funding project, from DST or MHRD something. So ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ ಟಾಲರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ವೆದರ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಡಿಲೇಸ್, ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವೆದರ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಡಿಲೇಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾದಿಂದ ಬರಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು, 6 months ಆಯ್ತು ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. As a result of it, what happened? It got extended. Health and safety issues, then legal contingencies, market changes, etc. All those things you should remember. Then consumables ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. All these if you see here, no, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ನಾನು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ ನೋಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್, ಈಗ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ದೆನ್ ಮಿಸ್ಲೇನಿಯಸ್, ಕಂಟಿಂಜೆನ್ಸಿ, ಓವರ್ ಹೆಡ್, ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪುಟ್ ಇಟ್ ದೇರ್. These are all the rules and regulations for how to use that. For example, consumable costs and laboratory supplies, office supplies, field supplies, pen, paper, soil samples. So now you have to suppose for working on an IoT project, you may have to go to the agriculture field. You have to involve some projects like if you see this during the Atme college ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, Atme college has got a project. Earlier actually was there, he got a project for 2 crores. Even though it is from DST ಇಂದ 2 ಕೋಟಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಂತು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಅದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ರೂರಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ they have to promote all those things. So So you have to go to the rural people, so transportation cost will be there. All these things you can claim samples again. Then suppose you are doing a research on chemistry, soil samples all those things, protective equipment, media and recording, printing and binding, calibration standards, then catering supplies. Calibration standards means any equipment you take, first thing it has to be calibrated. If you don't do the calibration, what happens? You will get erroneous results. Even you exam lab ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು you are calibrating for a test you output. So otherwise what happens? If you don't calibrate, erroneous calibration ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Calibration will not done, you people will not be done. You doing ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? Calibration agency ಇರ್ತದೆ. IS Bureau of IS Indian standards ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಬಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು everything is good. Then you can go ahead like that. That calibration people ಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, all those things. Then GST now the past 10 years GST any funded project we get, so 18% goes to that. After 18% ಮುಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So GST is that, you know what is this? GST is applicable for all things. For example, you know the conference ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ paper publication ಗೆ ಅಂತ. So the registration fees also will be given by the DST. For that GST ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತದೆ. So TDS also now for us also around 2.5 lakhs TDS ಮುಗಿದಿದ್ದಾರೆ in the last project. So all these things you should remember. At the end of the submission, you have to get it audited. All government projects, all state government, national government, international government projects, it will be done with this utilization certificate. Closing the project and then closing the project, you have to submit the UC. It's a common word, UC, in any project. So UC means closing the project, documentation, bill, tender, or quotations. Submitting the utilization certificate and closing a funded research project are critical steps in the project life cycle, ensuring that all the financial and administrative obligations have been met. So that means if you want the closing, for example, ನಾನು 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಫುಡ್ಡಿಗೆ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಲ್ಗಳಿರಬೇಕು, GST ಬಿಲ್ಗಳಿರಬೇಕು, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ it has to be audited by an auditor and then it has to be submitted to the government. All those things, all obligations to the funding agency, etc., all the things. And the next thing is this is what I have written here. Completion of the project after preparation of the final report. Then ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಹುಡುಗರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ BE project, MTech project, PhD thesis project ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. So these are the guidelines for how to write the project, for closing the project reporting ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. Based on this final project report only, they will either patent it or they will release it to the market in the form of a product. So completion of the project activities, all the planned activities are finished according to the funded project goals and schedule. Preparation of the final report. Create a final report that includes outcome, methods used and any changes from the original plan. Audit of the project picture. Preparation of using internal review. Every 3 months can be a review with the every 3 months. So it will be reviewed by the team of experts. That is review, internal review and submission to the funded project. Or any queries, you have to answer them. Okay, and receive the approval from the funding agency. All those things. Thing is, these are the list of funding agencies in India and abroad where you can get. List of funding agencies in India for DST is there. The one last for which I got was from Department of Science and Technology. Actually, why I am telling you here is DST is a ಹೊಸ plan ಇದೆ ಸರ್ಗೋ women scheme though 33.5% reservation is there. Any project is written by the woman as a principal investigator, definitely you are going to get that one. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. DST CSIR ಇದೆ, ICMR ಇದೆ, DRDO ಇದೆ, IC Agriculture, Department of Bio, Ministry of New, EGC, Audit, ACT and Tata, Infosys, Infosys spends crores of rupees. Then Bill and Veritas, these are all the Indo-US consortium, INSA, Department of Atomic Energy, Space, Baba Atomic Research Center. Now, recently, because I worked for 18 years in Mumbai, I visited Bharat because my friend was working there. It's a beautiful project they have used. Now, it's nothing but your speech processing, your speech and video. Baba Atomic Research Center, what is it's a beautiful project. There last year I visited for the alumni meet. I went to the alumni meet in IIT. So there, there was a huge big lab, 4 times lab. This 4 times lab here. Okay, that floor is fully equipped with an Piezoelectrics. And if you are moving, walking on that, the energy is being generated. The entire room is being what you call the lit with the non-conventional with this renewable energy. The same concept has been used in London. In London, the opposite that Buckingham Palace ideyala, footpath ideyala, footpath is fully layer of piezoelectrics are there. If you are continuously walking on that, energy will be generated. Correct? So because energy crisis in the world is the very biggest things is there. Because it has proved that by 2050 the world petroleum is going to come to a standstill. By 2050 world petroleum is zero ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Petroleum ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಗಲ್ಫ್ ಇಂದ ಆಯಿಲ್ ತೆಗಿತೀರಾ. So that will go for natural other source of energy. Which are the other sources of energy? Solar, lithium, wind energy. Correct? So all those things non-conventional energy, they are called as inexhaustible sources of energy. Like you take water, coal, actually thermal power plant. These are all inexhaustible sources. How long you get the coal from the earth's crust? How long you get the oil from this one? Because of that reason, per day, number of barrels from the earth's crust is decreasing. Per barrel rate rise up there. So, you see, 5 years back, there was no EVs. Now, everywhere is EVs because the scarcity of the petrol. A day will come by 2050. It is being proved that there will be no oil range. Oil is so, however, they have to go for alternate resources. One is the alternate resource is the solar. So, only about centrally, one full lab, full piezoelectric activity. Piezoelectrically, what are the energy to be produced? So that new concepts you can use it. It converts stress into voltage. And again, so many things are there. These are all the different. So where you can go to the websites and you can get a lot of. And also, even note, you can see what work they are doing. Like every year, this ISRO releases a response program. Booklet booklet they will be giving the different topics. See, one of the topic in 2025 is really it is very appreciating. That's a project clear. You put a what you call, you write a proposal for that. The proposal I also tried, but after ISRO 2025 program booklet that what they will only give the topics, hundreds of topics there. So you have to write the proposal and submit it. Like that, so many colleges will write whichever is the best one they will implement. Proposal see the Chandrayaan 3.2 program the electronic circuits which have been designed in the ISRO, they were working only at room temperature. This 24-25 degrees room temperature, but it was not in a position to work under critical condition. That is minus 14 days. Electronic circuits work. They are not working well. So now if I put forward a new concept that design an electronic circuit like that, it will work even in the extreme conditions like in Antarctica or Russia, etc. Because I have worked more on robotics. Nearly 300 papers are on robotics in my Google TC Manjunath plus robotics and get more than in fact I have written a textbook also on robotics way back in the 90s. It's a very, it was one of the 6th edition. That's driver circuits, so Chandrayaan 3.2 blocks box. A box heater box. Solar panel. A solar panel heater blows hot air. Again, all the electronic circuits will such that the room temperature will be maintained in that box. Just like SFPS. After 14 days, it Barlilla. So the sunlight was not there, as a result of which it went into the freezing mode. And moreover, what they did some hopping experiments, jumping experiments. You can see on the Google and all. So I expect more power consuming. So it went out of the So the new concept that you can have to design the buffer circuit, and signal transmitter receiver circuit. Allinda ISRO signal it was taking around 20 seconds. 20 minutes. Because signals always take certain amount of time to move from one part of this one to the other part of the see, American there will be a delay. Correct? Signal delay. If you send a signal at t is equal to 0, do you think that it will be received at t is equal to 0 the receiver? No, because it has to pass through the communication medium to the satellite and back to the receiver. So signal delay is there. So that's what you are studying in signals and system and digital signal processing, not delayed signal, step signal. If u of t is a step signal, u of t minus a is a delayed signal by a units. Signals always take certain amount of time to move from one point to the another point. So like that, how to reduce the delays in the signals. All these concepts that ISRO usually circuit fully electronics, VLSI fully related, chips related. So you have to design a electronic circuit such that it will work even under extreme conditions. Room temperature yaar ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ work ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Because this is now I divide a clipper or a clamper or a CE amplifier or any type of circuit, it will work around say. Even if you go to America and you that circuit will work, the mobile will work, this will work. But if you take the same thing and you put it in Antarctica or you in on the moon or on the Mars, it will not work because what happens, the temperature will be different. All those things. So you should design a particular module in such that it works in each and every condition, extreme condition, up to Jupiter work ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಬರೀ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂರೇ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್, ಆ ಮೂರೇ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ನಾನು ಬಂತು. See, the problem is nobody is ready. It's not so easy to make a circuit work in each and every environment. So for example, you take any Indian ammeter, voltmeter ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. You might have seen ammeter, voltmeter, wattmeter. What is that? The moment you give an input, what will the pointer do? The pointer will oscillate to info and then comes to rest. Correct? It takes sharp oscillation. It's for -87 pt. Correct? Exponential signal multiplied by a sinusoidal. So sinusoidal signal decaying on exponential ಏನಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ಅದೇ ರಷ್ಯನ್ ammeter ನೋಡಿದೆ ನಾನು. It's a 100 amp system. A Russian ammeter ಏನಿದೆ, the moment I give the input, pointer oscillate ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, slowly mode and stop. That means critically damped. Zeta is equal to 1. Control systems plays a very important role. So like that. So take the new concepts which are being current technology topics and try to implement those circuits. Any environment. It can be under, recently ನಮ್ಮ ಇಸ್ರೋದವರು ಆದಿತ್ಯ ಮಿಷನ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಸನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆ ಕೊರೋನಾ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ. So they will be working under very high temperature. That high temperature you cannot maintain that in the ISRO or nothing but in the particular lab. Adara environment create ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. You have to create a Martian environment or a sun environment or a moon environment and you have to test the circuits in that environment. So for that extra cost and all will be involved. For that you can ask the government. Okay, so that is one thing. So many are there. Koreans are famous for chips. ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊರಿಯಾದಿಂದಲೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. These are the list of funding agencies. So many ಇದೆ, ಗ್ಲೋಬ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ರೋಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಕಾರ್ನೆಗಿ ಮೆಲ್ಲನ್ ಇದೆ, all these research funds ಇದೆ. So all the world ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. So we can use this. This is very good. ನಮ್ಮ JNC, I mean the word of JNC ISRO, where ನಮ್ಮ IIC sub-wing Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, where CNR Rao is working there. Okay, this is the sister concern of IIC. One branch of IIC is in Chalkere, Chitradurga. Ali they are developing some of the experimental models for the moon. Also, the National Brain Research now recently, Modi came 6 months back and he around 50 crores project na IIC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. National Brain Mapping Mission ಅಂತ. The brain map, what is that? Ali see human brain interference, just like Elon Musk. Elon Musk project with CFTR ಇದೆ, NA ಇದೆ, so PRL is there. So many projects are there, and you can also go for Indian National Institute of Animal Nutrition and see the audio ಇದೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು. Respond back ಅಂತ ಇಸ್ರೋದವರು. Because all the electronic people only have to, because their main is easy. Respond project ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ file go on the Google ISRO website and download this file. It is around 120-130 pages. Easily 20-25 years. Otherwise, there are around 500 projects which has to be delivered, done and submitted back to the ISRO. For which ISRO will fund ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ISRO ಅದನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? They will correct. Do you think that Chandrayaan 3.0 was only one ISRO at work? No, they are given it to different colleges. From around all the IITs and NITs are already parties there. Some part of the work was done by them. Okay, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ collective effort and they have launched the program. So in this 2025 basket, you can see that there are a lot of communication projects. How to reduce the delays. For example, one signal ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೂನ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಮೂನಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕ್ಯಾಮೆರಾ ಫೋಟೋ ತೆಗೆದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಳಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಹೌ ಟು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ of signal from there to here, how to speed up the signal. You have to go for optic fiber madre, you have to go for total internal reflection, TIR. One signal 2, 4, 6, 8 multiple ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. But how to reduce the signal transfer ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. But only thing is you should have a creative brain. How to reduce, how to write a project proposal ಅಂತ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ. ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇಕೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ and you should have worked in that field. If you are not worked in that field, it will be very difficult. You can tie up with one or two faculties who are in, for example, one madam will be good in hardware, one madam will be good in software, so tie up. Or interdisciplinary, for example, developing complex algorithms, computer science will be. So, you circuit design money. So, like interdisciplinary projects also can be done. Okay, so use that one to develop a lot of projects. Try to get one project in Tamil college. Nobody will touch you. For 3 years, 4 years, nobody will touch you. ಯಾರು ಬಿಟ್ಟದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟೋದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Because 40-50 because in MBA, you see criteria 5 funded project proposal criteria ಅದೇ ಇರೋದು 200 marks MBA. So all this will go. Okay. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು TA ಅವರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಇರೋದು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ವರ್ಕಿಂದ ಇದೆ. You can use that. Third deadline ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ. And also you can apply for K-Tech. Biotechnology research thing this one I visited in IIC in Institute of Science. Because my house is very near to IIC because I did some research there also. She was just faculty who was my alumni. When I was working with the principal of Ambedkar, she has done a project under me. So after doing BA, went to America, did MS, and she is faculty in one of the colleges there. She worked on neuromorphic engineering. Neuromorphic engineering, that is brain mapping. So just for that particular workshop, IIC had called us spending around 4 lakhs, flight champion, etc. all those things. So we discussed a lot of things. It is a very project team and service like that. So what is the beautiful concept she studied is the neuromorphic computing and how to find out what is there in others' brain. For example, I am standing here, okay, and our teacher is there. So what she is thinking about me, I will not be knowing. What is there going on in her mind, I will not be knowing. Because brain is such a complex, what you call secure system. So what is there she is doing? She is working with Elon Musk. So the one who has invented the Tesla and they are working on complex evaluation algorithms on AI and this one, such that we can find out what is there in others' brain. I think you have seen England one of the famous scientists. So he has developed a chip. Okay, it's called as a cyborg. A chip so think chip store that is being transmitted wirelessly to the system which is there on the computer. So we can find out what is there in others' brain. That's what they are doing in NIMANS and all. NIMANS terrorist brain mapping next full medicines mind so because a lot of research is going on in the brain signals and all. That work she has done. In fact, one of my internship student also is doing that one. So the funding operators deadline this you can apply, and Singapore program also is there, and lot of research you can get, crores of rupees. Government what is the 75% of the money is going to the institutes of national importance. What is the institute of national importance? IITs, NITs, VITs, etc. ದೊಡ್ಡ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಅಂಡನಿ ಕಾಲೇಜಸ್ ಯಾರು ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಯಾರು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. If apply ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, if the project is very good, they will get it. For example, you take RD college, MS Ramaya college, PS, They've got funded projects worth 50-60 crores because our proposal ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ they make the faculty to write a proposal. Minimum ಒಬ್ಬ associate professor has to get a project. Otherwise there is no promotion. There is no increment at all. ಅದ್ರ ಇದ್ದಾಗ up to 60 lakhs ಇದೆ. You can ಆರಾಮ್ಸೆ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಿಗಂತೂ ಆರಾಮ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Because nobody women empowerment scheme ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. If you apply that, you are going to get that in under ANRF scheme. Still, only 10% of the fund is being released. ಯಾರು ಅಪ್ಲೈನೇ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. Like that. The IIT Bombay gets 700 crore research grant highest. Like that. Only bulk of the funds is going to the Institute of National Importance because there the research is going on. In other places it is not going. You take up the what you call the topics of current relevance, current technology problem solving. For example, it can be a flood problem. ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಮಳೆ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಫುಲ್ ಫ್ಲಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ನೀರು. Solve that environmental problem or the flooding problem or the traffic problem, smart city problem. Take this current technology problems, devise a proposal, submit to the government, along with some extra what you call experts. Then definitely it is going to get this one. So this one is that. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಡೋ UK ಇದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು ಅರೌಂಡ್ 5 lakhs ಗೆ. ಇಂಡೋ UK ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲೂ ನೀವು ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ given after our Infosys idea Prime Minister Atal. Yeah, so he initiated this Indo UK research program for the Indian students. So a lot of funding is being given this one. Okay, and on internship ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Agri college ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಜನ internships ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ every month 6 months internship 2 lakhs per month ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ with accommodation. So like that. This Indo US this is the way where I worked in my PhD in 90s. Indo-US Science Consortium project ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೆಡ್ ಲೈನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಒನ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ಸ್ ICS ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. Indian technology, all IITs are calling for proposals. You can apply. Indo-Israel is there, especially this was initiated after our Modi event. Modi is a very good friend of Israel. Netanyahu was the Prime Minister, and because Netanyahu kept it don't give the missile India because they have got a very good iron dome. They have got a iron dome just like the 400, the one anti-ballistic missiles which India brought from Russia. So all the iron dome is there. After iron dome means what? The missile is because my research is on my PhD work. What I have done was on missile technology. So that is if one missile is being fired, it is being fired on India, another missile, anti-missile, it should go at exactly hit. Because one small time also, fraction of a second also it will miss. Adike enagtane andre a tip of the missile they put the gyroscopes. These gyroscopes are nothing but the rotating sensors. The rotating sensors. For example, I fire a missile from Delhi, okay, targeting Islamabad. The missile will not fall on Islamabad. It will just fall Punjab or Bihar. Because the moment the missile is being fired, the earth starts rotating. As a result of which, at the point, exit point, that's what they did in America. The Americans didn't drop the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They dropped at some other place. By the time Alinda drop madala, Earth rotated by some amount. Exactly follow that. Because the concept of V squared minus C squared is equal to 2as does not work out. Correct? With what velocity V, the Newton's laws of dynamics, it cannot work out. Because it is a time varying system. DSP will because everything is a kind of time varying. See, there is a lot of difference between solving differential equations, linear differential equations, and non-linear differential equations. All mathematics are very tough. In electronics, everything is mathematics. For everything, 50% of the subject is mathematics. You have signals, system, communication, differential, summation, integral, Laplace, Fourier, Z, so that's why I advise to say that this particular see, I told them, see, if I fire a missile, it will not fall at that point because Earth would have rotated by itself. This is what you see when you go, if you are going to America, in this side it will take a lot of time. If you go other side, it will take less time. So that's what once I in 90s when I flew to America, now nearly around 39 hours per day. Because Earth is
ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಟೆರೆಸ್ಗಳು ಈ ಬಂಧಗಳು ಅಡಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ರಾತ್ರಿ 12 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ವಾಟ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ GPS, ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಸ್ರೋ ಇಮರ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಇದ್ದರೂ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ನಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿಗೂ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. Adusanda, they also give to different for conducting and all this one. And Chanakya fellowships also are there. 5 days of research proposals are there. Universities, new faculty will work on. They can go for faculty exchange program. That's what they do in Manipal. Manipal Institute of Technology is also Kerala. Ali faculty because they you see every year I visit there because my friends are there. Friends are really very lab is funded by one or the other incubation center. Like see, you know, Manipal, Satyanadala is established a Microsoft lab. Everything is funded center of excellence, incubation centers, everything is there. Students are having a lot of exposures to work and all that because they all put the current technology problems and solve and apply to the government and get the proposal. The faculty exchange program is the faculty exchange program and you work for 1 year, 3 months abroad. That's what in IITs and IITs and all are there. So faculty exchange program is there. There also you can this one, and this is the National Semiconductor India Semiconductor Mission. This is what we are, especially after the outbreak of the COVID, because we ran short of even one go. This power supply 7805 regulator IC ಬರ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. ಒಂದು LM312 ಬರ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊರಿಯಾ ಚೈನಾ ಇಂದ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಎಲ್ಲ IC ಚಿಪ್ಸ್ಗಳು. ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೂ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತು. because there is no fab lab. Fabrication lab ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ. So ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ lot of research is going on in this Bangalore. Bangalore is a center for you take CAD, you take Mentor Graphics, you take Synopsys, you take TI, Texas Instruments. Everybody is normally every student faculty they want to go for coding. They want to go software engineer. Nobody wants to become a hardware engineer. Correct? So now it is the era of chips, era of semiconductors. This ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಈಗ. The semiconductor mission also is going on now. The carbon nanotubes is coming. CNTs ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. In the CNTs also you can do a lot of this carbon nano, germanium silicon is one. The new type of semiconductor material is coming up. So cabinet approves a proposal of this one, etc. Semiconductor unit in Gujarat. That now in the second phase. Now our Yaduvir is trying to bring that the biggest semiconductor plant in India here next to Infosys. So discussion is going on. So if that you can have a tie-up with that industry collaboration and write proposal. You will get lakhs of rupees funded projects. You will going to get this. Okay, I mean, ಇದು ನಿಧಿ ಪ್ರಯಾಸ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. You can get agriculture and a lot of research you can go on. So this you can do semiconductor manufacture projects in India. So all these are plans where they are ನಿಧಿ ಪ್ರಯಾಸ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So it's up to 10 lakhs ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ANRF, only thing is the PhD should be doctorate and you should have a good profile. Profile strong ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. Once your profile is strong, then you can do wonders. Okay, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏಜ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. So up to and I'm giving you various proposals for supporting IAC in Pandit. See, you have a link with IAC because this is the era of quantum computing. Because the ordinary classical computing is coming to a halt. Because classical computing ಏನಂತ ಇದೆ, lot of problems are there. It is secure, it's not secure. ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮ ವೈರಸ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಾರ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಓದಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಎನಿ ಡೇಟಾ which is transmitted from the source to the destination may be hacked. ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ethical hacking comes into the picture. ಏನಾರ data can be hacked and our data you will get erroneous data. How to secure the data that you can do in the quantum computing? Because everything works with quantum dots there. Okay, so ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇಮೇಜಿಂಗ್, medical equipment to designs for of devices, all those things, regenerative therapy, and here ಇದು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಅಡಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. You can get this one and KTech you can work and get that and this one. 100 crores is doing ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಉಚ್ಚ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ನಿಗಮ ಅಂತ ರೂಸಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, RUSA ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So in this you apply all the factors, put your profile ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ particular topic, if it's good, you can get startup money put the students, faculties in the college. Just like I told you in AE Hubli, where there are 100 startups. 100 startups is all owned by students. There are 50-50 partnership because if the students they want to if they want to develop a startup under the MSc program, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಜಾಗ ಬೇಕು, ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಗ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ವರ್ತಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, only 30-40, 50-60 partnerships ಮೇಲೆ. So the students will have the facility to work in a particular startup. All IITs and NITs have got a startup. If JCL ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ you can use all this, the national quantum mission ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, 6,000 ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. You can apply for that. These are different technologies. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಡೋ ಫಾರ್ ಟೆಲಿಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್. ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ನೀವು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ you can write good proposals on communication. What is communication? Communication ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್. ಈ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ DSP imaging more ಹೋದ್ರೆ you can be expert and you can do wonders. You can do wonders in this particular field. Because if you see in this particular area, what is there in this area? Signals of different amplitude, frequency and amplitude. If it is a one-dimensional signal, then you get two-dimensional signal, image. Three-dimensional signal, also hologram. Okay, and you can see VGST. All factors you put for VGST are well, and one proposal should be strong. MST to apply money, and for investigating economics ಇದೆ, funding opportunities for hydrology ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, CSIR, and this one these are all different what I have told. Indo-Japan, ICMR, there is a lot of research is going on in ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. 5 minutes. And see the final conclusion is, so revising your proposal, first time select ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಪ್ಪ, ಲೈಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್, IEEE ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಜರ್, ಟೈಲರಿಂಗ್, ಫ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಸ್ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕ್ವರೀಸ್ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ರಿವೈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಿಮ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ರಿಯಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ FPGA ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವರೀಸ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಸರಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು, ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಐ ವಾಟ್ ಒಂದು IEEE ತುಮಕೂರ್ದು ಒಂದು IEEE ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರಿವ್ಯೂ ಬಂತು 40 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರಿವ್ಯೂ 30 ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಥರ್ಡ್ ರಿವ್ಯೂ ಬಂತು 10 ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಫೋರ್ತ್ ರಿವ್ಯೂ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ IEEE ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್. So like that, revise, and finally you will just submit. So revising your proposal. Seek regular feedback from research readers as soon as possible during the development of the proposal. Bear in mind that strong draft proposals take a long time to develop. Overhead management ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟೀಸ್ ಏನು ಬರ್ದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಪ್ರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹಂಗೆ ಓವರ್ನೈಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಓವರ್ನೈಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಎ ಟೈಮ್, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬೌಂಡ್. You have to work on that, you have to do some research, you have to do some documentation. It takes a lot of time. So that's why I am telling you that it takes a long time to develop. So plan well ahead to ensure meeting the deadline. So management will tell, any Q1 publish ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, Q2 ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, Q3 ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು Q2, Q3, Q4 ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ? It takes a lot of time. So ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ so that time bound. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ರಿವೈಸ್. So do not feel ashamed or embarrassing about asking for answers, etc. Be positive. Definitely, if you first attempt you will fail, definitely in the second attempt you are going to second. So that's what Bruce Willis in the Spider told. I think I can do, I never give up until I reach the goal. That's what King Bruce had told. Dave Carnegie, or Carnegie Mellon, was the #1 university in the United States. To do one MS program, there it cost 1 crore. Carnegie Mellon, I go into MIT, Texas, and Academic. The #1 is Carnegie Mellon. So this is what I have told. Some of the things all the things what I have told is just how to write proposals in any field, general field. Not only with respect to the speech and hearing, or not only with respect to the, because I am communication. If I take this mobile, what is there in this mobile? This mobile is ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಏನಿದೆ, ಚಿಪ್ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ಚಿಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್. There is smart antenna, patch antenna. Research on smart antenna, patch antenna. What is it? It emits signals. Okay. It can be a one-dimensional signal or a two-dimensional signal. If it is a one-dimensional signal, it is a sine wave. If it is a two-dimensional signal, it is an image. If it is a three-dimensional signal, it is a three-dimensional image. 3D movies X, Y, and Z. Correct? So all those things. So every entire communication spectra is full of signals and systems. So signals and systems means if you are thorough with signals and systems very ganita. ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಲಾಸ್ Z Fourier mathematical modeling etc. all those things. So you can work with signals. You can work. See, that's what the people will do. Third semester signals and systems ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Next semester ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ DSP ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Digital signal processing ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Correct na? Because any signal what they take in the olden days analog was there. Now they are coming in the digital. As a result of what they have to convert everything in the digital stream. ಅವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ADC ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Analog to digital conversion ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Correct na? Successive approximation techniques, sampling, all those things, sampling, coding, all those things, and whatever I am speaking, ಎಲ್ಲ record ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. How it will be in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, so that is what I want to tell you. It can be a one-dimensional signal. The method ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. So that signal will be like this. ಜೋರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Amplitude of signal will be more. Okay, everything is mathematics in this. So what you do is first thing is writing any project proposal. The mathematical modeling should be very important. Mathematical modeling in model, then you have to do using simulation. How will you simulate? I can simulate using any type of tool. Lot of tools have come up. MATLAB is there, LabVIEW is there, ANSYS is there, then PSpice is there, Multisim is there. Virtual labs from NIT Surathkal is there. Gottala. Idರಲ್ಲಿ simulate ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. The simulation you can vary. I can vary a resistor value etc. MATLAB simulate ಎಲ್ಲ vary ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Okay, in the simulation you can play. I can design a very good circuit. It is working well. Then what you do? You transform the simulated state into the real-time implementation. Using the lab, using kits, using any type of kits. Using, suppose if you are using DSP, TMS kits use ಮಾಡಿ. ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ TMS kits ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ LabVIEW kits ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ real-time implementation. ಈಗ Intel ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ Intel Quartus Prime FPGA kits ಎಲ್ಲ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. HDL kits ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ತದೆ. Model sim ಇರ್ತದೆ. So all this will be the real-time implementation. So once you do the real-time implementation, then you can come to a conclusion that whatever you have simulated is validated. Correct na? ಈಗ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಥಿಯರಿ ಬರೀತಾರೆ, ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಿಮ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. If simulate everything is working well, then they will manufacture and then they will release it into the market. So the three steps: first is the design, next is the simulation, next is the real-time implementation. Indians are very good in simulation. Simulation experts ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Real-time in ಯಾರು hardware things is very very low. See, this time in the entire Bangalore, only around 42 people are being selected in TI, Texas Instruments in the Bangalore, Bagmane Tech Park. So they only 42 people because hardware is becoming very very. People are finding it very difficult because circuit designing and all is not so easy. I think if you go for VLSI up to the 10 nanometer, 20 nanometer, 5 nanometer, now it is the nanometer level is decreasing like anything. Because you see the cadence, every college is having the cadence score and all. So you can design a chip using this. That also you can write a project proposal. One of the project proposal is recently I floated how to reduce the power loss in the chips. For example, you take head of the Gordon Moore, the Moore's law. There is the number of transistors per chip goes on increasing every 2 years. Recently you can see on a tip of a pin there are 1 billion transistors with a pin chip. As a result of which is Atal processor, what is being continuous ಮುಂಚೆ ಯೂನಿಕೋರ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಕೋರ್ ಬಂತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಕೋರ್ ಬಂತು, ಪ್ಯಾಡ್ ಕೋರ್ ಬಂತು, ಈಗ ಆಕ್ಟೋ ಕೋರ್ ಬಂತು. As a result of which means ಆಕ್ಟೋ ಕೋರ್ 8 times computing. 8 ಕರೆ parallel processing, number of applications are increasing. As a result of which what happens, the processor gets heated. When the processor gets heated, it emits what you call I2R losses. Losses ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? If the losses ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? The material will get what you call thermal radiations in the material become outdated, heat ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. CPU ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೀಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಲಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ I12 processor just come out, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ are there which is used to cool the processor. ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. How to cool the reduce the power loss, how to reduce the power loss in the quantum chips or in the IC chips. ಈ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. So write a project proposal. Use your idea. Well, definitely it will get directly. Definitely it will click because one just one small example I will give you. ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೀವು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರಬೇಕು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಟಿ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ 50 ಜನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಲೆಸ್ ಕಾರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನೋಡಿದ್ರ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಆ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ಲೆಸ್ ಕಾರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಸೂಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಈಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈಸಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಮಿನಿ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಕರೆದಿದ್ರು ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಹಾಗೆ 24 hours ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಎ ಕಾಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಇಲಾನ್ಮಸ್ನಿಂದ ಕಾಲ್ ಬಂತು. ಸೊ ನಾವು ದೇ ಗಾಟ್ ಎ ಟೈಮ್ ವಿತ್ ಟೆಸ್ಲಾ. ಸೊ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರೊಂದು 6 ಜನ ಆಳಿದ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲಾನ್ಮಸ್ನಿಗೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ obstacle avoiding solvers project proposal from 24 hours ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. Like that the new concepts ಮಾಡಿ try to solve the current technology problems and see that definitely you also will come up, your college also will come up, your name will come up, etc. Because majority of the CEOs in the world are Indians. Recently PS alumni Patil and the Prabhu Patil and he became the youngest in AI like that. So students, even Mysureans also can see that lot of research is there. Modi is doing lot of funds here. Infosys is there, you can have a tie-up with the chip manufacturing company there. All those things. You try to current technology problems thoroughly. Proposal submit ಮಾಡಿ first attempt fail ಆಗಿದೆ, second attempt ಹೋಗಿ, third attempt ಹೋಗಿ, definitely one day you will succeed. And you can become entrepreneur also. So these are the things that I told you. Another PPT there is a 100 slide. I will leave it there only because time is fun. You can take the PPT from the so upon these all PPTs will be put in the this one. You can use that one. And any doubts are there, you can ask to me and I will try to this whole coordinators are there, participants will be there. Just mail me and whatever work is there I will let you. Because why I am telling all those things is because in the past 60 years I have done a lot of research work in this particular field so that social relevance, many people are using this concept. I think you will also try to develop and try to bring your late your career. Okay. Any questions are there? I will try to answer. Any questions are there? You can whatever up to the maximum extent I will explain.
Before the project completes, any project it might take around 4 or 5 years according to the it around
extend one nange aaytu ನೋಡಿ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮದು ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ದು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 3 year ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ 3 and a half years ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್
ಅಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟರೊಳಗಡೆ ನಾವು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಪೇಪರ್
ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಪರ್ಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಬಿ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಎನ್ NDA ನಾನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಲೀಕ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡೇ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಡೋದು. ನೀವು ಒನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ದ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಗೇಮಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಜರ್ 212 ಬಂತು ನಮ್ಮದು. ಅದೇ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್ 212 ಬಂತು. ಇದು ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ 20 ನಮ್ಮ ಗೂಗಲಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ನನ್ನ ಪೇಪರ್ out of which 330 are indexed out of 1500